transforming orders. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to perform the following: explain what order transformation is all about, describe when to use the different types of transformation, and create a product transformation rule. Our first topic covers an overview of order transformation. This slide highlights how transformation fits into the order capture process. First, you'll either enter a new order or import one into Oracle Order Management. Once that's done, the system applies any necessary transformations to the order. After the transformation step, the order is ready to be submitted. Some companies use several different order capture applications, and each one might collect slightly different information on the sales orders. Not only can sales orders from various apps look different from one another, but they're also different from the orders in order management, which we refer to here as transformed orders. A transformed order is the business object that gets created when a sales order is brought into order management. Order entry specialists can also create these directly using the order management interface. Transformed orders focuses on fulfilling details, like which warehouse will handle the order, while regular sales orders are more geared towards the information that's important to sales reps and customers. To make sure all the right data gets processed properly, you can set up your own product transformation rules. These rules determine how products get converted when a sales order moves into order management, so that every order is handled the way you want and has all the information you need for fulfillment. Transformed orders have all the details needed to actually fulfill an order, things like the customer, item, and quantity. When sales orders, sometimes called source orders, are brought into order management, they're converted into a fulfillment-ready format, which includes both orders and order lines. At the same time, fulfillment lines are created. In order management, all the actions you take are actually done at the fulfillment line level. Keep in mind, a transformed order may not always look exactly like the original sales order. It adapts to what's needed for fulfillment. In the graphic on this slide, you can see an example. There's a sales order with 4 sales order lines. After the transformation, you have a transformed order with 4 transformed order lines, and each of those becomes a fulfillment line. Each fulfillment line then gets its own orchestration process to manage the steps which are required to fulfill that line. In this example, you can see how a sales order with just 2 lines is transformed into an order with 6 order lines and 6 fulfillment lines within order management. Since transformed orders are all about fulfillment, key details like pricing from the original sales order are carried over. Let's break it down. The laptop line on the sales order becomes a single line in the transformed order, and it's assigned to fulfillment line 1.1. On the other hand, the deluxe accessory package from the sales order is split out into several individual lines, one for each accessory in the package, like the docking station, mouse, AC adapter, and keyboard. Each of these gets its own fulfillment line as well. This approach makes it easier to manage the fulfillment of each component, even when customers order bundled products. Next, we'll discuss the different types of transformation that are available. Products get transformed using a mix of product relationships, product structures, transactional item attributes, and business rules. The item cross-references and structure data that you set up in the Product Information Management work area also play a role during the transformation process. When you write transformation rules, you can set up several types of product transformations, such as product to product to attribute to product, attribute to attribute, context to attribute, and context to product. A single rule can actually be enabled for more than one type of transformation. One thing to keep in mind, post-transformation and product transformation rules aren't applied when a return order line is submitted directly through the user interface by an order entry specialist. In product-to-product transformation, a single product is converted into one or more separate products by using product structures, product relationships, business rules, or even a combination of all of these. For example, in the slide, a sales order that includes a laptop and a deluxe accessory package gets transformed so that each accessory in the package becomes its own individual order line. If you look at the tables on the slide, you'll see that the sales order table shows the original lines, quantity, and product. In the transformed order table, you can see how each product is broken out. The table displays the product name, transformed order line, fulfillment line, and quantity for each separate item. For attribute to product transformation, we use a specific transactional item attribute, like color or size, to help convert the product. The transformation can either add information to the existing product or even swap it out for a different product on the sales order. In the example on the slide, you'll see that the Vision Mini Plus product has attribute of color equaling silver and size equaling 8 MB. When the order is transformed, these attributes trigger a conversion to the item VIS 481A. Looking at the tables on the slide, you'll notice that the sales order table lists the original line, quantity, product, and the specific item attributes. In the transformed order table, you'll see variants or options, like 4 megabyte or 8 megabyte, showing how the transformation is based on those attribute values. With the context to product transformation, the context of the order, like where the product is being shipped, determines how the product gets transformed. In the example on the slide, the country the product is being shipped to decides which power cord should be included. For instance, if the customer's shipping address is to the United States, the US compatible power cord is added. If the shipment is going to the United Kingdom, then the UK compatible power cord is included instead. You'll see in the sales order table that we list the original line, quantity, product, and any attributes. The middle table shows the different power cord options depending on the shipping destination, with column for ship to, United States, and United Kingdom. Finally, in the transformed order table, you can see the final details. Each line now includes the right power cord along with the product, plus the ship to information that drove the transformation. In product to attribute transformation, the product listed on the sales order gets turned into an attribute of another product. For example, let's say a customer orders a pair of noise-canceling headphones with gift wrap. On the sales order, gift wrap might show up as a separate child line under the main product. When the order is transformed, the system pulls in the correct model number for the headphones, and the gift wrap option becomes an attribute instead of a separate line. Looking at the tables on the slide, the sales order table shows the original line, quantity, and product. In the transformed order table, you'll see these columns: line, quantity, product, and transactional item attribute. Here, the gift wrap option is clearly displayed as an attribute of the headphones, making it easier to manage and fulfill the order. With attribute to attribute transformation, we're changing a specific transactional item attribute from the sales order. For example, say the original sales order includes attributes like style and glass. During the transformation, these get combined or converted into a new attribute called pane style on the transformed order. If you look at the sales order table, you'll see columns for line, quantity, product, and the specific item attributes. In the transformed order table, the new attribute, pane style, shows up under the transactional item attribute column, reflecting how those original details have been transformed for fulfillment. Finally, in context to attribute transformation, the context of the order, like where it's being shipped, helps determine and set a specific transactional item attribute. For example, in the context requires domestic packaging based on the shipping location, that information is added to the order during transformation. So, after the transformation, the domestic packing attribute is included on the transformed order. Looking at the sales order table, you'll see columns for line, quantity, product, and item attributes. In the transformed order table, you'll notice the added columns for transactional item attribute and ship to. Here, you can see that the domestic packing attribute has been set based on the order's shipping details. For our third topic, we'll cover setting up transformation. To set up product transformation, here are the main steps you'll follow. These are also shown on the slide. First, define your items in the Product Information Management work area. Then, define and generate rule bucket sets if you need them. Next, link the bucket sets to the relevant facts when you're creating your rule conditions. Then finally, create your transformation rules. Setting up product transformation ensures that your products are correctly converted when the sales order is brought into order management, all based on the business rules you define. This process combines product relationships, product structures, transactional item attributes, and other business rules to manage the transformation. Keep in mind, setting up Oracle Business Rules is optional, but it's helpful if you'll need more advanced transformation features beyond the basic product setup. Similarly, bucket sets are optional, these are mainly useful if you're building rules using the decision table format. Oracle Business Rules is the part of Oracle Fusion middleware that allows you to set up sales order transformation and other business rules in Oracle Fusion Cloud Order Management. These rules help you automate your organization's processes and ensure your business policies are followed automatically. For example, if your company offers free shipping on orders over $200, you can create a rule in Oracle Business Rules so that the system automatically adds free shipping to qualifying fulfillment lines. This is a rule-based forward chaining system. Here's what that means. The rules engine takes in your facts or data inputs, checks which rules can apply, and runs them. Sometimes running a rule will generate a new fact, and then those new facts can trigger even more rules. The cycle continues until no more rules can be triggered or until you stop the process. Because of this inference cycle, rules don't always run in strict sequence. Sometimes actions taken by later rules can change what happens earlier. A couple of notes. Post-transformation and product transformation rules aren't applied to return order lines when you submit them directly from the user interface. Oracle Business Rules use several main components. First, rule conditions. This is the if part of a rule. It's made up of expressions that look like if facts, such as if ordered quantity is less than 20. When this condition is true for a set of data, it activates the rule. Next, rule actions. This is the then part, what happens when the condition is true. Actions can add, change, or remove facts, run Java methods, or perform other functions. Facts. These are the pieces of data that rules work with. Order management provides a hierarchy of facts based on your order data for each transformation rule. Bucket sets. These help define lists of ranges of values you can use in your rule conditions. They're especially useful if you're building rules using decision tables. Dictionaries. A dictionary is a container where Oracle Business Rules stores facts, rule sets, bucket sets, functions, and more. It's essentially an XML file that organizes your rules and the underlying data structure. Order management provides several pre-populated dictionaries that you can access through setup and maintenance. And decision tables. This is another way to organize your rules using a table format, which can make things easier to manage if you've got a lot of conditions and possible value combinations. There's also an alternative tool called the Visual Information Builder, which provides a user-friendly interface for setting up rules such as pre-transformation defaulting, process assignment, and external interface routines. This lesson includes a student practice where you'll use the Visual Information Builder to create a pre-transformation defaulting rule. To summarize our lesson, you should now be able to perform the following. Explain what transformation is on the context of order management, describe when to use the different types of transformation, and create a product transformation rule.